back for hour 2 of Stardancer, not of Burn Notice.
Did you almost say Burn Notice?
Yeah, I did. I was about to say we're back to hour 2 of Burn Notice. When you're a nefarious pilot. Yeah.
All right. So this deception plan is
rock solid.
So we're gonna skip right how you got in. We can flash back to that. Your ship may very well be parked in the hangar here. But when you guys walk in, it's actually a pretty sizable installation just under the ice crust. And the major export of Lithios is people mine for gases and liquids beneath the crust because water in space is precious, and this planet has a metric ton of it. So you guys walk in, and they're giving you essentially, like, if you've ever been to like a food factory, like I don't know, Hershey or something, they always give you like a little tour. And this is pretty much that. They're showcasing, like, you know, how, like, they're like, oh, you know, we can get Yaru grown to service whatever needs you need, etc. One of the notable things, though, is that you notice that, like, when you guys land, there are very, very, very few people that don't bear the mark around. The reason for this is, believe it or not, this is the only guild that you can't join or test into. Like, you can test into the Star Shapers, you can test into the Engineers, you can become a counter, but the Yaru are actually you can't become a Yaru. You can't just like learn whatever's required, because
you can't like sign up for the newsletter and then like be joined by paying your member fee.
So this is not well known. I'm telling you this as players, but there's actually a very limited number of given Yaru scientists that are allowed to be active at any given time, and the Emperor, the Hegemon gets to control that, and for various political reasons, their numbers have been drastically decreased because they didn't particularly support this given Hegemon in the Ascension Wars the last time around.
Whoops.
So their numbers have been drastically reduced, and so there's only very few like scientists allowed to be around. And interestingly enough, the scientists are generally used as the genetic stock that the Yaru are built from. So yeah.
Are we gonna find a Fae?
It's so they have that's where they get their gene pool from. Yeah.
In any case,
and that's Faye's backstory, right? Is that like they're also prohibited from procreating. Like, not only the scientists limited, but they aren't allowed to have children. So
again, there's a Fae. So you folks show up, and they actually have models that you've never seen the like of before, because generally they're not allowed, like on campus, so to speak, they can do whatever the hell they want. But off campus, they're governed by the rules and the laws of the
FDA says which ones they can actually sell to the public.
So one of the things that happens is, like, when you walk in, there's these like 7-foot half tiger people that are essentially pacing with you, and they're the guards of this installation. So like, you start seeing some clones that you're just like, wait, is that even allowed? And like, it's definitely a little different in here. It's but it's a
shock and all.
This is interesting because a lot of the hegemonic places are like, you just came from a church ship that seemed a little too empty for the size of it. And now you're in a Yaru installation, and it too seems a little too empty for the size of it. So you see like the concrete walls, but there's like ice growing up like in the bottoms and in the corners. It's obvious that they don't have enough manpower to, which is weird because they print.
They make it.
Yeah. But it's obvious.
Seems like that would be a thing they could.
It's like printing money.
And so like it's obvious that somebody is not taking the meticulous care that's necessarily necessary to give a presentation of this thing. It's almost like the nature of the planet is overwhelming the science of these people and their capacity to deal with it. And as you're being shown around, right? Like there's these two burly guards, and there's at least one person who's like, "Oh, welcome to the installation."
Yeah, is our tour guide also a clone, or are they?
Yes, actually. Okay. But they're functioning at a slightly higher level than most of the Yaru you meet, but they're obviously printed for this task.
Mm-hmm.
So they're a bit obsequious, and they definitely do some obeisances and flatter you and pretend that you've got statuses and whatnot. But the general feel that you get is that this installation is largely maintained by this Yaru personnel, and there's very few people that are. So for a brief second, you think to yourself like, oh, everything's going to be great.
Right.
This is going to be tremendous. And then when you guys get like the basic tour, you see some rooms, you see some of these like people being educated or training, you see like some of them like running and like staying fit to like prepare themselves or whatever. There's like a couple of rooms that are there's like places that are marked off limits, so there's definitely like do not go here personnel.
Sure. Well, there's the public consumption tour space, right? And then there's the factory where the sausage is made.
You guys enter like right. So you tell me like we're gonna get to the scenario where you guys are ushered into essentially what looks like a boardroom, and there's gonna be a person with no mark there, and they have like a lab coat, and they look like an average scientist if they had like perfect genes, so they have like nice hair and like perfect teeth, and
a vague family resemblance to Faye.
Not yet. Nope. Right. Keep in mind that the stocks are varied, right? So like if they're building a John model, they need like a John person to draw a stock from here, but it's not necessarily the same people everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And
I was thinking,
not born on this in this crash.
I was thinking a lot about is Faye from Lithos? Like as we were landing, I was like, is this her home planet? And
is it?
Like,
Tell me.
Yeah, right. Like that was I didn't envision Faye as being like on an ice planet, but I mean it is kind of cool. Like why would the second Yaru planet we go to be her home? So I think yes. I think this should be let's do that. When she was talking to Boz, she also let drop like, yeah, I really should have paid attention. I remember the iota system. I didn't think I'd be coming home. And then that's when Lauren walks up like, are we ready to go?
Hello, honey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So notably, you haven't been back in like what, 20 plus years?
Ever?
Yeah, ever for sure. It's been.
How old were you when you left?
Like she
10, 20?
No, older than that. She was a teenager before she was kind of like more than her parents could handle. So I think she was probably in her mid-teen, like 15, 16, before she finally was emancipated enough to just be like, I'm out of here. And she was already hanging with the wrong kind of.
Wait, is this?
I'm confused.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Because you have adoptive parents and then you have birth parents, and the birth parents are Yaru, or the adopted parents Yaru?
No, the adopted parents. Well, so that's an interesting thing. They would have to be non-scientist. So when I envisioned the background, which was sort of before this planet was, her birth parents are Yaru scientists. Her adopted parents are just people who live on the planet that aren't.
Okay.
It would not be Yaru. So,
it wasn't like got sent away, just out of arm's reach. Yuck, extra creepy.
Yeah. As long as that makes sense on this planet, Josh, that there'd be.
It's fine.
Yeah. Outside of the complex, maybe there aren't any, but in the world of as a whole, there are regular Joe Schmoes that live and function and live on the planet.
As a point of note, you don't Yaru are pretty seclusive, so you don't see Yaru scientists frequently leaving. They tend to live in the compounds, and you guys aren't seeing it, but where they live, there's obviously like gen engineered plants and artificial sunlight. It's really nice. But they tend to not leave. They're not the kind of people that are like, yeah, I'm just gonna skip on over to the nearest town and do town stuff because I like being with non-gen-enged people. As a matter of fact, many of them actually look down on most humans.
Yeah.
They consider themselves a different breed.
So I imagine they don't mix well with the community at large that they find themselves in proximity to.
Right. So it's very easy for you to go to a town or hang out with spacers that do deliveries here and stuff like that. So you actually probably know a fair amount about this place.
Yeah. So where we got the outfits and where we were docking and all those places, that was Faye's home until she was in her mid-teens. This place she hasn't been in since presumably she was born. She doesn't recognize it at all. This is not.
You're a Lithian native. I didn't see that coming. That's cool.
Yeah. Yep. That's right.
Did you have a crazy giant ice dog for a pet?
Icelandic pony dog. Icelandic pony dog.
Of course we had a crazy Icelandic pony dog.
Awesome.
Cool. Helm handles sleigh riding as well, right?
It sure does.
Yeah, totally.
All right, awesome.
All of that business. So there was a thing though, as we were walking with the tour guide, Faye leans in towards Lauren, who they're already doing this walking together, and she says, "Perhaps
do you dye your hair?
Do I dye my hair
for this job?"
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's go blue because it's a color she likes. And in space, that's totally an easy thing to do. It's in non-space, it's totally an easy thing.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just asking because I'm checking to see how different your appearance is from anyone that might recognize genetic.
Yeah. Well, it's been many years, and and her clothes and her hair have changed. So it's blue and it's got a little bit of a wave in it now. It's normally very straight, but it's a little curly at the edge. Yeah, why not? Space hair. So she leans into Lauren to whisper to him, maybe instead of offering payment, you could offer favor with the hegemon. I mean, you had some connection with the hegemony, or at least you could lie about it, that you had some connection back in the day when you were somebody of, I mean, not that you're not somebody, I'm just saying you had connections that might still exist, or even if they don't know. Maybe when we're talking to them, you could offer them favor.
But I have to pretend that I'm not the person that I am in order to be here.
Sure, well, you figure that part out. I never worry about those sort of things until the moment. Just figure that out as you go. It's best not to plan too far ahead.
Well, I mean, we're not actually here to actually buy anything, so we don't actually need to have actual money. So we can just say that we do have it, and that's fine. Right.
We could. I'm just saying we could also say that we have favor.
Sure.
It might get us further.
Yeah.
So this is where the hitch happens, and you guys are in a control position when it happens, which is to say that when you walk in and you see this fine person in their fine coat and their perfect appearance, they look like they stepped out of some sort of crazy magazine ad. They're photoshopped in real life.
How rude of them.
So you get this, they flash you that perfect smile, and they say like, oh, we are happy to see to every need that you have. And he flips around a tablet and he says, just press your finger here so that we have your gene ident and we can start negotiations from there. And that's the hitch, which is slightly different. Like, Faye, you've never conducted business with these people, so you weren't 100% prepared for that. But they're basically like, and they
give us your thumbprint. Yeah.
Oh, it's more than a thumbprint. There's probably gonna be a prick. So
it's the space thumbprint.
Right? Yeah. What do you folks do?
I think Lauren looks at Faye and then says, I'm so sorry. I have a deep aversion to these devices. I'm deeply, deeply afraid of them, and I just can't do that. But I'd be happy to provide my papers for you.
We can take a lock of hair.
Faye.
As a point of note, this is also totally possible the time when you guys are like flashback.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, Faye is going to walk. Does they need it from all of us, or is this just sort of
No,
like
whoever is negotiating for this.
okay, cool. Faye's like, oh, honey, don't worry. I know you hate. And she says, honey, like, oh, search for words, honey. I know you hate getting your finger pricked. And she walks over and presses her thumb against the thing. And I want to flashback to earlier when she was gathering her not so great information. Seeing the little identification, like seeing a little video where they're like here at like the like silly little video where they give you like the introduction when everyone's like smiling and happy and like somebody does the thumbprint and she sees that they're gonna do it. And I want to try and acquire a not acquire in that sense because it's going to be an asset that I wouldn't be able to get here, but I want to, with the spy gear that we have, I'm going to look up what it does. I want to get like a prick of someone else's blood that I can use and like stick it like under a little like fake pad on my thumb so that when I go to do the prick, it uses a resonance.
See that coming.
Well, that's because it's a flashback. So I'm going to try and extract blood from somebody on planet without them noticing.
That might have to be a role in the flashback. This is
of course. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, this is ridiculous.
Don't say.
This is straight up.
It's actually not ridiculous. It's just that you folks don't have the time to get some sort of blood for someone important so that it goes through. Okay. Yeah, this sounds like a thing.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to get Space Church Dude's blood, but there's no reason why I would know at that point that I would need it.
Yeah.
But like having him would be awesome. So yeah.
Except that you shouldn't be Theron. Like, it's very obvious.
No one would notice.
Yeah. It's all good. No, that's fine. But it could be somebody out in the town, out in the spaceport, rather. So I would be looking for a person, not a Yaru, because I think they would immediately identify one of their own. It would be
awesome.
Like, that's John 488.
Cool. So we flash back, and do you want to do it like on a space station, or do you want to do it on planet, or?
Yeah, I think when we're
because on planet there's not really anybody fancy or important. Not that they have immediate global data scans with everyone's DNA or anything, but it's just a thing to keep in mind.
Well, I have a proposal, which is
I'm
perhaps us being the petty criminals we are, this is something that has come up, or maybe there have been other times where you're like, it might just be useful to have a little bit of this person.
Well, that's the thing is I'm sure all clones are named John. Yep, they are all named John. I guess the question is this ever something we've seen before as a method of identification?
It's unusual. It's not unusual. Unheard of. It's unusual.
Okay, cool. Well, then we pay more stress to have thought of it then.
I think I've seen it before.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes lots of sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is the thing you may have seen.
Yeah, in the fancy pants.
When I bought my space Mercedes.
And with your space caviar cup holder.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Chilled.
I like it.
Yeah. Oh, the chilled space caviar cup holder. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Lauren, perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. Let's see. Spy gear, disguises, voice modulators, mini cameras, thermal scanners, false thumbprints. It's like the same thing.
It is kind of the same thing.
So I want to use my spy gear.
Awesome.
Which has like a little fake thumbprint, but instead of it being using the thumbprint, we've put a little bit of blood.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's not a problem. So mark off spy gear. Speaking of which, we should pause now because we talked about this right before the break, but we didn't actually do it. Everyone should declare their load.
I did it, but I haven't declared it out loud. What do I have? Oh, I brought a blaster pistol.
Oh, you don't have to decide what your load is. You just have to choose the category.
Yeah,
Oh.
light, normal, or heavy.
Oh, normal.
Oh, okay.
It's worth qualifying that light makes you look like a regular civilian. Normal makes you look like a shady character that's like strapped, and heavy makes you look like you're getting ready to get in a fight or go to war. Yeah. So I recommend that at least Lauren and Faye go with light.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, but you don't have to pick your gear until you use it. So like I'm picking spy gear right now. Everything else.
Got it. I learned something. Cool.
It's kind of cool because what happens is this. So what we saw here was I said, "Here's an obstacle you need to overcome it," and Sean said,
Haha.
"Flashback. I would like to spend some stress to have acquired this thing already." And what we didn't say was, Sean, that'll be a 1 stress flashback because it's a little contrived, but not too much.
Excellent.
You have the gear. You just need to acquire the blood.
Yep. Exactly.
We have vials in the freezer. Come on.
So, which means that you have to prick someone, and I really want to know who that is. What is that?
Yeah,
like,
right. Like I totally want to prick someone. I want to pull someone that we've encountered that would be interesting. The most obvious person is, if we're thinking about this as something we would have done before, is totally Theron. But
you would have known that you needed the vial until you were on
what? Sorry,
system, right?
I wouldn't have known, or I would have known.
It doesn't sound like you. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I would have. So
okay.
I think we'd have to have been in the system. In which case, it's rando in a spaceport, right? Like I don't know anybody.
And how are you acquiring the blood? Are you walking up to somebody in a bar who's passed out? Are you?
I'm going into a bar and oh, that's perfect. I'm going in a bar and I'm totally getting in a fight. That's absolutely perfect.
Awesome.
I'm gonna get in a fight, and then like afterwards, I like punch somebody, and then I'm like, oh, I surrender, and try to run away. Like I don't want to actually fight, but then I like take a little swab and swab my knuckles or something.
You hit them with wearing a ring.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, you have like you have all this fancy jewelry. I'm sure one of your rings is revealed to have a small needle.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That sounds great. So 1 stress for you for the flashback, and we see you walk up and you impress your thumbprint, and you see like your genetic code goes like on there, and it's like processing, and it like creates like a body type, and it's slowly filling in features as it's like reading them off of the code sequencing. But the guy gives a cursory exam. You found somebody who's like roughly your size, roughly your height.
Yeah.
And obviously they're not going to have blue hair, but it's assumed that you have blue hair because you dyed it. So they don't do that too hard. So eventually it's obviously not going to look like you. But at the moment, the guy doesn't wait for like the sequencing to go through, but you see it sort of like happening in the corner of your eye where it's like creating your model out of it. And then, he sits down and he flips the tablet around, gives it a cursory examination, and then starts talking to you. He's like, well, let us talk about your needs, and starts discussing the process with you. Now, the question that I have is, are you guys going to try and get one of this? Like, how do you get to the specific clone that you guys need? What's the plan? Is somebody not with the group? Is somebody trying to? I was going to say,
like, do I like stand in the hallway? Like, do I just not come like inside? Like, who knows?
Well, I think perhaps, I think it's a good idea if we're like, Merriweather, please stand guard at the door when we go in.
New name.
And then so we go in, the guy's like, so how can we help you? And I'm like, well, we're really looking for someone to help us because we've got a baby on the way, and we just don't have the manpower right now to take care of everything and the house and the grounds and all of this. And this also, we maybe flash back here where I'm like, okay, so you, my wife, Faye, are pregnant and perhaps you might feel a little ill. That's a thing that happens, and you can excuse yourself. This very legitimate excuse. Whatever. And so we come back here.
I love it so much. I'm like, yes. I like put my hand on my belly. I am. We're just expecting this lovely baby.
And how are you feeling? And I like put my arm around you and like my hand on your stomach. And because I know sometimes you've been feeling nauseous these days.
Faye totally shivers when you put your hand on your stomach.
You pale a little.
I pale a little, yeah. It is. She's having a hard time with this, but that's okay. This is the act. She's like, "Oh, I'm doing all right, honey. So far, I haven't had any of. So far, I haven't." And then I kind of stop. I'm like, "Oh, maybe I spoke too soon." Yeah. If you could just speak with my husband, he knows exactly what we want. I think it's a model, and I like rattle off something that's like close to like another servant type, but isn't the exact same one because I don't want to be too like putting a lampshade on it. And then I'm like, excuse me for a moment, and I go to step out.
Awesome.
Leave.
So you folks are trying to sell a lie essentially, and I feel like for this person to be at ease and not sort of pressing the scenario and asking questions too hard, this feels like a group sway.
I totally think so.
Yeah. So it feels like in general, Faye and Lauren are the group because Merriweather is going to be acting the part of the bodyguard, but it doesn't feel like you're lying about anything. Does that sound fair?
That sounds very on point. Yep.
So who's leading the action?
I feel like it's Faye's lie that I'm supporting her in, but what's...
Yeah. Nope, I'll take it. I'll lead it.
All right, awesome. So let's do a group action here.
Yeah.
Faye and Lauren, you folks are going to get to roll sway. Usual rules apply. Remember, you have 3 gambits, and this is like you can push or assist as necessary.
Awesome. What's our position and effect?
I feel like this is still controlled because that's what the engagement role established, right?
Yeah.
So we are in a controlled situation. They're not suspicious yet. You're not in a high risk area, and you are selling a fairly believable thing. I imagine this gentleman's going to find out pretty quickly that you're not pregnant due to your blood ident here.
Right.
But that's not the case yet. So. We may have to like flash between the two groups as you folks are doing some escapade, and Lauren is trying to convince this person not to look at their tablet and instead talk.
Yep. So, is the effect standard?
Yeah, the effect's standard right now.
I would like to shift this a little bit and be like, oh yeah, and get like right in this guy's face, and I think. And tell me if I'm wrong, but if he looks down on people, if he sees other people that are sort of not of his level as lesser than him, I think physical contact with another person and like the whole grossness of childbirth, because he's been making people out of genetic code rather than going through the process.
So messy and terrible.
Yeah, I would like it to be a little unsettling to him, enough so that he's like, I don't want to have anything to do with that. Like, I would just like to be, nope, thank you.
So I guess what you're saying is you're trying to argue that you know some secret about these people because you grew up in this environment, and you probably, as a child, had them look really weirdly at you because you weren't forced grown to maturity.
All you
all right, sure.
Yeah, I'd like to go risky great if I can.
This sounds good.
Yeah.
Because you are a person that he may or may not recognize leaning in really close to him.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool.
And I could upset him as well. So, and I think we should spend a gambit. I think this is a good thing.
Which one of you would like to spend the gambit? It is important because it depends on crits. So what's your sway, Lauren and Faye?
Mine is 1.
Mine is 2.
So remind me how... Okay, so Faye is risky and great effect. Does that mean that I'm also rolling in risky and great effect?
That is correct.
Yeah, it's one group action.
You take whatever the highest die is amongst both of you. If you roll a 1 to 3 as your best die, Faye is going to take stress for it.
Yep.
Right. I'm happy to take the gambit.
Cool.
So that's 1 bonus die, correct?
Sure.
Yep. So we'll both roll in too. Awesome.
Great.
I like it.
All right, here we go.
Risky. Great. Bonus stats. What are we looking at? All right, I rolled crud.
But our
okay.
gambit got us a 5.
So I take a stress because
this almost went really bad.
Yeah.
So yes, Sean Fay takes a stress.
Yep.
And you get a 5, which means that
I need to pull the map up so everyone can see
there's
my bad rolling.
So I think that there is we'll give you a complication for this. I think that you get in his face and he like almost flinches back and then is reminded that like he's supposed to have this like veneer in this training and you see him like pose his face and like carefully remove your hand from him like, oh, it'll be fine. And then he goes 136, 174 and you see like the like tiger guards like come in and he goes, please escort our fine lady to the bathroom and procure any medical necessities if they're needed. And so the complication is that he's going to send guards with you to make sure that you get to the bathroom and back safely.
Nice. But that still leaves him fully distracted because we still got the great effect of him being fully distracted.
Absolutely.
And it leaves Baz free to walk around. So I'm okay with that. I'll take it. I'll go. We'll see if I have to ditch them later. I will not resist that. I will not give that a nope. I'm like,
awesome.
I'm like, yes, please. Very sick.
Awesome.
Really sick feeling.
So we'll see. Meriwether, are you going with the lady to the bathroom or?
Oh no.
No. Are you just gonna stand outside while the guards take her off?
Well, like I feel like what's come to pass in the minute. Let's see. No, actually, this is a great opportunity. Okay, totally. I'm gonna trail since Lauren is very carefully ensconced inside, and I haven't had an opportunity to run off just yet. I will very happily follow, and I'll follow to the washroom, and really hope this is a force myself in the door after Faye.
So I think that there's this. I just want to have this like quick like 10-second scene where there's these 2 like beefy clones with like tiger stripes in their hair and like cat eyes, and they're looking at you like, and you're standing there with your like Hawaiian shirt and like 2 guns.
Today it's a pizza shirt.
Oh, a pizza shirt, of course.
Pizza shirt.
I love it. It's got a little pizza slices on it.
Yeah, totally. Pepperoni and mushroom, right?
Yes.
Yes, I dig it. And you're standing there. Are you like kind of like doing the same like machismo thing back at them, or are you like
what's up? Right.
So I ain't scared of you, dude. I know you're
like, hey, we're the same. We're the same sort of folks. I know your biz. We are on the same level. So, like, how's it going? Nice hair.
I'm almost tempted to give you a roll to see if they like respect that or something. I feel like this is like a command. Like, it's not so much that you're intimidating them; it's that you're trying to project. Like, you tell me, what skill do you like? Do you want to roll to try and build a rapport with them, or do you just?
I'd be into that. I'd be totally into that because, like,
awesome.
I'm like, check out these remarkably big versions of what I do. They're not as good as I am, but that's okay. But they're totally rad.
They are pretty rad. They probably have like sweet saber teeth or something.
Yeah, they do.
And so what skill do you think you're using here to try and impress these people?
I think command makes great sense. A little bit of swagger and a little bit of like ease in one's own self, right? It's like kind of how I'm feeling on that one.
Awesome. So do you wanna roll a controlled command to see kind of
how they take to me?
Cool. So you can push yourself. You can spend a gambit. Can't think of a devil's bargain here per se.
I don't think it's important enough to spend a gambit. I mean, you tell me. I just don't think this is high consequence at this juncture. This is just some like.
I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of your options. And
Thank you.
I think that's a fine decision.
Yeah. Awesome. And so that being said, I magically click a thing. Where do I click the thing?
You can click the
There it
word
is.
command on your sheet. Yeah.
It's because I have it pulled out in a different window. And then this is going to be controlled, eh?
Mhm.
And effect is standard.
Yeah.
Great. And no bonus dice, even though the shirt's really great.
Not at the
It's a
moment.
really cool.
can-
It's both pepperoni and pepperoni and
You can
mushroom.
push yourself for a die.
What is that? What's the implications there?
You take 2 stress and you get +1d. It basically means that like you're putting extra effort into impressing them or whatever. You're just going for the edge.
You know what? That sounds like a thing that Boz would never admit to doing, but totally is going to do, right?
All right,
Like no one
sounds
else.
great.
Like Faye's busy toddling off to the bathroom, so
Yep.
Boz is way into impressing the new tiger friends. So there's a bonus die, push for 2 stress, and off we go.
Nice.
No consequence. Exit looks great. So like they're these like giant angry tiger folks, and they're all like, machismo, and you're like, sup, yeah, I totally get you. Yeah, we're on the same vibe. They're like, actually, we are. You seem pretty cool, you know. How many people did you punch in the face today?
Yeah.
And then
It
you're like
occurs-
trading stories of like, man, I once punched a guy so hard I broke my pinky finger. And they're like, whoa.
And I had to have it in a cast for.
I think that perhaps like by the time like they're summoned in, you've got like your shirts up and you're showing off scars and you know.
So good. Yeah.
So you like you build a bit of a rapport with them, so that they
Mhm.
consider you like I don't know, like on the level, like
As we
you're
say, like a
Stardancer, and they're like, we can eat you. Your prey is like the initial vibe, and you're like, no, I'm a predator too, and they're like, oh yeah, what kind? And so
What do you eat?
I mean a lot of things.
What?
Superb. And that swagger, I will very happily carry that conversation, right? And saunter into the washroom right behind Faye, regardless of the status of if this is a single stall, like whatever. Just
No. It's a nice bathroom. I mean, this is guild facilities, right? So like roomy. It's well lit. It's incredibly antiseptically clean.
Fantastic.
Yeah, the two of you walk in. What do you do?
All right, Faye, up we go. Find a panel into the ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm happy to look around. I have a whole other idea of
What do you got?
What do you hear? They were told to give me any medical supplies I need. I don't know what do you need? I've never been pregnant, but I bet there's things.
Soda
Help me.
crackers.
Soda crackers? Okay, let's start with that. And we need another one for the other guy. There's soda crackers for the first one, and then I'm gonna forget and remember the second thing for the second one. You've got tons of family. You've been like your whole you've like
soda
17
crackers fix
siblings.
everything.
I know. So okay, so one
Seltzer.
Seltzer. Okay, soda crackers and seltzer. Got it. Awesome. And I look around, I'm like, there's no soda crackers or seltzer in this room, right?
No.
There's like nothing in here.
It's bad. I mean, there's little hand towels. There's like different antiseptics for washing your hands. There's probably a small cabinet with like painkillers and aspirin and other things. Well, actually, no. These guys are well engineered, so there's nothing like that. And then there's obviously toilets and
Yeah.
toilets.
So I go and splash some water in my face. Sorry?
Yeah.
3-ply.
3
Fancy toilet paper. Sorry.
Will you steal some of that while you're in there, please?
I come out and I've got a bulge all of a sudden. They're like, wow.
Pregnancy
We're really not
goes
used to how
fast.
pregnancy works. That's really fast. And also your child looks cylindrical.
They don't know what real babies are like.
I got no clue. It's great because Faye's never pregnant, so neither is she. But she's getting with Buzz. So yeah. So I come out, I put my hands in the sink, I splash some water on my face so it looks like I'm like in a cold sweat or something. And I come out and I do my best to look really queasy. And I turn the first one, I'm like, I need soda crackers.
What's a soda cracker?
I need salty. I need oh god, come on.
Biscuit. Cookie.
Seltzer water?
No, I don't. I'm not going to ask for that yet
Oh,
because
okay. No, of course not. My bad.
I need starch infused with sodium chloride.
The two tiger people with like the sigils like kind of look at each other and they're like, we don't under. And one of them is like, I will find somebody who knows.
Great.
Oh,
Yes.
so serious.
I figured if I gave them like it at the most like chemical level I could.
Yeah. So like they're really confused and they're like, is it edible? You know. And like
Yeah,
one
I'm
of them is like, yes, they eat things other than protein. And they're like, huh. I will seek the food processor people.
Nice.
They will
And
find one for you.
And so I think this is all going to be one roll, but it's like as soon as the first one leaves, I give him like a until he's turned around the corner. I'm like, oh, and seltzer water to
Cool.
try and get the other
So
one
yeah,
off.
give me a sway.
Yeah.
This is controlled right now because you're not doing something terribly unreasonable, and they were ordered to get you whatever. You
Yeah,
need.
I listened to that part.
Yeah. So.
Scoundrel to the letter.
Yep. All right. Let's see if I can pull this out. This is controlled standard.
Yep.
I'm not Stardancer. I'm Fainal.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
Heyo.
There we
So
go.
I think you get. I mean, on a 6, there are no consequences. So this is not like a partial effect. It's just you do it.
Nice.
So yeah. So I think you send the first one away, and then as per plan, you run out in an even bigger panic. You demand like water with carbonation.
Yeah.
And the other one is like more food processor.
Yes. Carbon dioxide in infused water. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
they're you know, he saunters. He makes a weird growly noise in the back of his throat and saunters off. And you know, you guys count to like 5 or 6, look left and right. You're good to go.
Nice.
So we switch back to the room where
Yeah.
Lauren is talking to this gentleman, and the ladies have been gone for a couple of minutes, and you're talking to this man. And you can only spend so much time being like, well, I need a servant person. They're like, well, okay, here's 15 models. Which specificity do you need? And, you know, he's like suggesting there's not a whole lot. Like he zooms in. How do you like delay him or keep his attention from wandering, or do you?
Yeah, I think I try to. I think he starts showing me models and I'm like, that one's too handsome. No, that one's also too handsome. What are you doing here? I'm looking for a nanny for my child, not something to draw my wife's eye away from me. And
I think that he actually seems almost puzzled, and one of the things that he says is he's like, well, we can't grow them past a certain age because the cell structure starts decaying. So I'm afraid that I can't make you somebody who is particularly old, but do you have specific specifications? What kind of a person are you looking for?
and I start crying. I start breaking down. And I'm like, she's always looking at other men. And so I'm like, in this very moment being like, fuck, she needs to get back here. She needs to get back here right now. I have to make up a story of an affair that she had with a man. And then I choose one of the clones and I'm like, and he looked just like Matthew right there.
And he's like, well,
oh my
you know,
god, I'm dying.
model has like different hair and eyes. We could, awesome. Cool.
I think you have to swear that you're not sure the child's yours.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I think maybe
And
I'm
then
like
I'll tell you what.
weeping.
You
Yeah.
should totally give me a roll, and this is going to be a risky roll because the risk is he'll totally be like, "Oh well, we can just check," and he will flip right over.
Ah, no.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I think that should be worth a devil's bargain though, to like say I'm not sure the child is mine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure.
It feels
Yeah.
like that's because you're talking about genetic stuff to a geneticist. Suddenly you're like playing into their wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Right. So is this a sway again?
Yeah.
It feels like it's sway.
Nice.
So risky effect standard.
Yep.
Bonus die for my devil's bargain.
Yep.
Oh my god, you guys. This
So
goes
good.
poorly.
So good. So
This is
excited.
the best.
So good.
Oh no!
I mean, there's a consequence, but it's still a 5. It's still a 5.
It
guys.
5 is
works.
wonderful.
5 is the perfect outcome right now.
So
That is
so
great
here's
number.
the good news. The good news is you've definitely distracted this guy and completely blown out of his mind, trying to figure out how much time has passed. Here's the bad news. So like the risk is going to come to pass. There is a complication, right? And the complication is he flips over to, he's like, oh, well, we can totally look into this whole process. He definitely like flips to like the gene information and then looks puzzled and like hits a couple more buttons and then hits a couple more buttons and he goes, sir, I'm afraid to tell you your wife's not pregnant.
And I think at this point I had like started to compose myself, and I just like a deep wail comes out of me. And I like crumple to the floor, and I'm like, "That baby was our future. It was what was going to hold us together. What has happened?"
So good.
And I did bring with me a communicator.
Oh, awesome.
And I think as I'm like crumpled into this ball, I'm like communicating with Faye, like, I need you. Like, this is going very badly.
Do you just like push the button
can't-
so we hear the conversation?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Maybe that's
Mhm.
Hop to. Yeah.
Cool. So the camera switches back, and where are Faye and Boz? Did you folks split from the bathroom? Are you?
Yeah, we're splitting from the bath. We're looking for we're inside the complex.
Mhm.
We ostensibly know what they look like and
Absolutely.
how to identify them of
Sure.
We went
some
to
way.
the
So we're
farthest, most tucked away door that says employees only, and they're trying to get it to open.
yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're
So all of the doors that say employees only have to the left of the door, they have like a gene sequencer.
mhm.
So you can put your thumb on it and it'll
Nothing happens.
open the. Well, I don't know. Here's the question for you, Faye. Did you used to open these doors?
Yeah.
I mean, you folks have seen Yaru walking in and out of them. Like, it's no big deal. I don't know. Did you ever open a door like this?
How early was I given up?
I don't know. You said you were like super early teens or something.
No, I was super early teens when I left this crap hole of a planet. I think
okay.
I was had to be given up before then, but I was old enough to remember my parents. So yeah.
So
I think I was like 6 or 7.
Let me give you the options here. There are some locks between you and where you want to go. You can rig them, in which case you use electronics to like touch wires and bypass them. You can hack them, which is you software override them and tell them that they got the right code inputs. Or you could we'll discuss what happens when Faye puts her thumb on them.
Yeah,
shoot them.
we could shoot them. Shooting them is always an option. Let's try and Boz, you're good with doors and electronics. Why don't you try and jimmy it open?
How loudly?
Quietly, like with wires and stuff. Come on, how loudly? We gotta go. Look at this. I'm having an affair with Matthew.
Shut up.
You heard?
Help me, shut up.
I'm helping by telling you to do it. That's how I help.
So Boz, what is your load, and did you bring any sort of tools for this?
Oh, yes, I did. I load is normal. So Boz, of course, in addition to all the fine things stashed in various pockets and looking a little bulky, happened to have, I'm sure, pulled out some sort of old ratty parka from like the depths of some like Foot Locker, and like almost looks like she belongs here, but out there with all the plebes.
Oh, I see.
The defaults.
Yeah.
Because of course you have a ratty parka.
Awesome. So that sounds great. And I mean, you're the bodyguard, so nobody like questions that too hard. With your pizza shirt.
Super important.
Did you bring like a mechanics kit? Is that a thing you have?
I think that sounds, because things break constantly.
Repair tools. You got them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Because isn't it funny how in repairing a thing, like the door's broken, it's not opening, so I'm gonna fix it.
It's definitely.
So this sounds like a rig.
Yeah.
Are you pushing yourself, Faye? Are you assisting?
Yeah, Faye's gonna assist. I think she's
Great.
gonna assist by basically being like lookout and like being like, okay, go for it now, and also by like holding, like doing the menial tasks, like when you're like hold these two wires together. Well, you have to do the complicated stuff.
Great.
So Faye, spend distress.
Yep.
Bonds, you get +1d.
Great. Awesome. And this is risky? I don't know.
Yes, because you could set up alarms. You could.
Lots of wrong things are coming our way.
Well, not yet.
Let's find out.
Let's find out. You should roll some dice.
All right. So risky effect is standard.
Yep.
And I have a bonus die.
Yep.
Which puts me up to whopping 2 dice.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you could push yourself to go up to 3 if you wanted, or take if there was a doubles bargain, or take a gambit. All sorts of options.
How many gambits do we have at this juncture?
We have 2
3.
left.
2, sorry.
I spent 1.
That's right. I don't want to spend either of those at this juncture. That
Cool.
seems like things that we're gonna need. I'm not inclined to push myself either, unless like there's other ways to get through the door. It's just it'll be terrible. So
if you fail, I have I'm sort of a little tiny part of me is hoping you'll fail, but I think this is what we should try first.
we should do it this way while we're sitting here whispering desperately obnoxious things at each other, like shut up, shut up, shut up.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dun,
No, you pop it.
dun.
It's totally
Nice.
not even a thing.
Nice.
And so I think that by the time you get through and you're headed, are you going to a specific place? Like, are you looking for like a terminal where you can locate this person? Are you looking for just like a place where they're storing a bunch of the clones? Like, where does this door lead?
Now that we're behind, like we got behind where people are going to be like looking for us, the next step is my favorite stop ever, which is like the janitor's closet, but the version that always has a console in it because this place is fancy, and then we can actually like reference the console.
Yeah, so I think what we want is
pull up a map or whatever. Yeah.
the computer that has not for public access.
Boom.
Yeah.
Awesome. So there is a computer there.
Cool. And of note, since you got a 6 on a risky roll, we get a gambit.
Boom! You're up to 3 gambits. Awesome.
Yeah. That's a great number. That's 1 for each of us. All right, everyone, go.
This is roughly around the time you guys like walk up to the terminal, and it basically has like login or handprint, and so like you can like hacksaw it or something, but like which is roughly around the time that over comms you're hearing the like, I can't believe it, that child was supposed to be our future.
Yeah. So I want to flashback
Awesome.
to because we already established that we have this like that Faye has this this spy gear which takes prints and whatnot. I want to flashback to where right when we like Faye purposely put her arm in front of this guy so you'd have to like push her away, and I peel off a little handprint thing off of her wrist that she like pushed against him so you'd have to do it.
When he removed your hand and
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So like I peel off a little like thin filament that has his print. Do you want me to make a skulk roll to have gotten that without him noticing, or?
Yeah, why don't you give me a skulk roll to show me how good a quality this is?
Yeah.
Because if you get a 6, it's perfect quality and the system will not register any complaints. If you have a 5, it's a partial and the system will be a little alerted something weird is going on.
Cool.
Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. How much stress is that flashback?
We already established that you had spy gear and you did a deliberate. We already saw that action.
Okay.
So I feel like it's a 0 stress flashback because it's not. It doesn't seem contrived, and it seems like it would be part of a plan like this.
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. So what's the position?
Controlled.
Cool. Skill controlled. I think I will spend, since you just earned it, I'm going to spend one of them gambits.
Boom.
Cool. You're at 2.
And it helped.
Okay, so it's totally fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little alert clock. So I'm going to put a little 4 clock, and I'm going to tick a segment on it where it's like searching, and then you like move it around. It's like searching, and it's like, please position your fingers here. And you're like,
I'm like, don't stupid.
and it's like close enough, but it raises a flag in the system that's basically like, is it really this guy? Was he really here?
Yeah. Why is he in a janitor closet?
Right. So the computer is noticing some weird patterns, but it has like, you don't see like red alarms and like doors locking down yet. So you get in, it like gives you some like basic access, but it's enough to like type in commands and whatnot.
Sure. Well, I mean, I might not know how to use the system well enough, but my hope with getting his is that it's pretty high level access, because
Sure.
I'm getting the like scientist, like one of the few that are here.
Oh yeah, they are actually pretty important. So let me generate a 4 token here. Oops, that's the wrong one.
I love it.
There we go.
But as soon as I get the login, I'm like, here you go.
Can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
So
cool.
pretty. Although I don't see any ticks on it.
I'm
It
going
looks
to,
like it's-
well, just one quick second. Let me give it a nameplate of alert.
I don't see a nameplate on the other one.
Me either.
Oh,
Yeah.
it says voice of the box Faye for me.
No.
Yeah, I don't see it. You might have to make it visible to players or something.
Hmm.
Maybe.
But
Okay.
actually, while you do that, I was just looking at the time. We
Oh,
should
player
probably take-
positions. See name. Can you see it now?
Yep.
Yes.
Aha!
Mm.
I'm learning things.
Awesome.
All right, so just give me a moment here.
Yeah. No. Okay, I now see alert as well.
Boom, bam. There we go.
Oh, these
So
clocks
that's-
are so.
That's your alert tick there. All right, cool. So yeah, you mentioned that we're so I'll leave you guys on a tiny bit of a cliffhanger, okay? Just so that we go to break in a cool moment. So you're like, IDIT number, and you're like typing it in, and you're like, search, locate, do this, and it shows it, and you see like a map of the area, and it shows them, and they're headed towards what's called the imprinting chamber. And you see them basically like their little like dot is like bloop, bloop, bloop.
Oh boy.
Oh no, that doesn't sound good.
No, it doesn't, and we should totally go to break there.
Oh.
Nice, awesome. All right, let's. Oh, that's my cue. Do your thing, Sean. All right, we'll be back. We'll be back in a few.